Welcome to Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. This is your go-to source for practical advice and support while you go through the divorce process. Join us each weekday for a quick chat where we'll cover a variety of topics such as child custody, property division, and self-care. Together, we'll explore emotional, financial, and legal aspects of divorce and help you find the best path forward for you and your family. Here's your host and Certified Divorce Financial Analyst professional, Mike Fulkerson.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. I'm your host, Mike Fulkerson, financial advisor and certified divorce financial analyst professional. And today we're going to talk about a topic as you're going through the divorce process, because that's what this podcast is about. But really, we're looking at that whole light at the end of the tunnel. Now, the real challenging part is for different divorces, the light at the end of the tunnel is different distances away. But it's always there. Even if it just seems like a speck, it is still there. And so when you think about the process and how grueling it is and challenging and all the decisions that you have to make, it's important to keep a clear mind as much as you can. And that, whatever your outlets are, you got to use them. So whether that's, say, exercise or walking, talking with friends, perhaps you have a therapist that you meet with as well. There's got to be some way to help you manage the stress during this time and keep you focused on going forward. Divorce coaches are good for this kind of stuff as well. And the reality is it's extremely hard. It's the hardest part. I mean, pulling the trigger and getting a divorce seems like the hardest part, but really that's not too bad. When you pull the trigger, you got all these new pieces of your life that you have to work through. And when we look at getting done with the process and getting through it, because really the court system is not really all that great. It makes things more difficult, but at the same time, there probably isn't necessarily a better system if you go through that. Now, if you're doing the collaborative approach or you're doing mediation that way, then it's going to be different, and it could be more amicable, and it could be smoother. That is definitely an option. However, if you are taking the more traditional approach with attorneys and the back and forth, then it's going to take more time, and it's probably going to also be more stressful. And you want to be mindful of this so that you can really just take advantage of making good choices. If you don't, these choices you make could stick with you for a long time, and they may not work out the way you thought they would. So when you look at the light at the end of the tunnel, you're always going to be making progress. In some form or fashion, you're making progress to the end of the divorce process so you can move on with a new you. Now, the good part is it happens. The challenging part is you got to work through it. And you have to work through it if you have kids too. So if you have kids, you want to be in your best state of mind, best decision-making processes as well, because a lot of decisions you make could impact them. And when we look at making those choices and decisions, it's okay that you're overwhelmed at times. You just got to find the outlet, and you got to get through it. And once you get through it, you'll be better on the other end, and you'll actually appreciate what you've gone through. So it's not easy. I'm not here to tell you it is. I wish people didn't have to get divorced, and myself included, but it happens. And you could say it happens for a reason. But in the end, if you go through the process, just know that there is light at the end of the tunnel, and to lean on your support system so that you can get through the process. I want to thank you for joining me on this episode of Breaking Ties, Destination Divorce. Should you have any questions, my information's over there in the description of this. Divorce is not the end of your story. You'll get through this and start the next great chapter. Take care.